But you know what? I'm an Edmontonian. This is what we do. We get out in the cold and we make videos. Hey YG Nation, today's a special episode. Today, we're gonna be talking about Holyrood. And if you guys don't know, Holyrood is a community just north of Bonnie Doon Mall. It's the area that we're gonna be talking about in particular is the area just between just on 85th Street and between 90th and 95th Avenue. So the reason we're making this video is on November 17th, bright and early in the morning, City Hall is going to be having a public consultation for the Holyrood Developments. And the first big and a little bit controversial proposals that are being considered right now in City Hall for the new council. So right behind me, you guys are going to be seeing it as I walk, is the Holyrood Developments. Or sorry, the Holyrood area that's going to be developed. It's actually a huge area and it's a very interesting proposal. Most of the houses were made in the 50s, so they're pretty old, and a lot are up for redevelopment at this point. So clearly this is, as you can probably tell with some of the houses behind me, there is a lot of older homes that are in need of, well, some loving or some redevelopment. Now, this is going to be a very interesting opportunity because the Valley Line LRT is going to be built right along here. If you guys don't know, there is a LRT line that's going to be built all the way south to Millwoods. It's the Valley Line LRT. It's a huge billion-dollar project. I don't know, don't quote me on that. The largest, so in this area, in Holyrood, the largest consistence of homes are actually single-family detached homes. So, you know, pretty low density. But the previous developer of this area was built a big home right on the corner. We're gonna go check it out in a second. The proposed development for this area is actually gonna be to hold about 1,200 units. So right now there's only 160 units. So you can imagine how much more dense it's gonna get. There's gonna be 4 medium density residential buildings, which are up to 6 stories. 2 high density, which means, you know, 6 to 18 stories, very tall buildings with a lot of people. And then 1 very high density building, which is gonna be 6 to 22 stories. Yeah, so we're gonna have a bunch of buildings, and the plan for this is that about half of it would be open space. So I hear there's a limit on how much of it can be actually homes, which is about 60%. Most of the parking will be underground. There will also be shopping and walkable areas for the families and stuff like that. So hopefully there'll be some commercial zone as well, so which is why there needs to be rezoning. So actually this was supposed to be made, the decision for this was supposed to be made by September by the last council. However, there were issues with getting that done, and it was feeling rushed by the city council. So they decided to wait for the new council to come in, which obviously the election was in October. So now it's November, and this process has been taking quite some time, but I think they want to get it done right. So now on the 17th there's going to be that deliberation, so hopefully you guys all get a chance to, you know, make your voice heard and have a say in what happens. Well, it is a very large project and it's going to change the very nature and fabric of this community by a lot, actually. So, you know, if you have any vested interest, please participate. Let's talk about some pros and cons. And this is not a comprehensive list. By any means, it's not a comprehensive list, but this is based on the research that I have done so that you guys can get like a quick rundown. There is more information online, and again, links will be provided. But some of the things that are pretty unique about this area is that this is a huge area that like this developer is able to work within the city limits, and actually in a very like internal part of the city. And so the developer is able to create one unique kind of area that's kind of that has some level of flow and integration to it that you know, if you're only building a single plot, you are unable to really get that kind of unity between all of the different properties and create pretty much a little community village inside of the whole area. But this rezoning of the area will support the way we grow and the transit-oriented development the city has kind of been planning. Because there is the LRT station in this area, we can kind of densify the area and bring users to the LRT station by just having them live in this area, and then that station will be very well used, and honestly it's 2 stops from downtown. So if you're working downtown, this area then becomes a very like good area to actually live in. This area right here, this building, is the building that I was talking about earlier, which earlier was developed by someone, a different developer, and before they gave up on this project. So this is actually that area, so pretty sweet. So this is the Holyrood Apartments that were built by the previous developer that owned this area. It was built before that developer gave up on the site, and now there's the new developer who is planning on rebuilding and taking over this area. So one of the things that Ben Henderson actually said, and he's the councillor for Ward 8 who did get re-elected this election, is that putting towers next to single-family homes in a neighborhood that's in this older neighborhood isn't going to increase prices of the homes, and it's going to increase traffic. And if we don't take care of the people who are already living here and are already struggling to pay rent, they're going to get pushed out of this community, which is their community, and they don't want to see that. So that's one of the issues that people have with the new developments. So the city planners also have issue with this area, and one of the biggest issues they have is that they want to build one of the 22-story buildings. And the issue with building a 22-story building in a neighborhood like this is if you build it, there is a very overcast shadow that goes across the whole area, and it will block out the view for a lot of different smaller homes that are in the area. And so that is going to be a problem, obviously. And there is actually a picture on the PDF that shows that a 13-story home is probably the highest that it should go, and but the developer does want to make a 22-story home, so there's going to have to be discussion about that. November 17th, guys, that's when it is. 1,200 unit homes, right now there's 160, and as a resident once told me, or someone who lives nearby, that traffic circle over there, that traffic circle, when it gets busy, it's a quote-unquote gong show. So if we add a ton of new homes, an LRT station, which people might want to park and ride for, you're gonna have issue with traffic, and there aren't any plans currently to develop the road any further or create a way to reduce traffic in the area or any congestion. So that's definitely gonna become a problem later on, and a lot of residents are worried about how long it's gonna take them to, you know, drop their kids off at school or do something like that. So, you know, most people aren't against redeveloping the area or, like, you know, improving this neighborhood, but they don't see that it's being done right, and so they want to see it get done right. And that's why November 17th, make sure you guys come out and get your voice heard and make sure it gets done right. So I have been mentioning earlier, and I'm gonna say this again, is that you know, if you guys want more information, we have links, and one of those links is going to be, a couple of those links are going to be to the City of Edmonton website. One is that PDF that I was talking about, which has a very, very detailed plan about what they're going to do with this area that we've been walking through today while I talk. And the other link actually is the HDC, which stands for the Holyrood Development Committee. The Holyrood Development Committee has been a loud voice about how they want to see this development go through. If you want more information, we have links, and make sure you go check it out, and we will see you there, I guess. But we're gonna be there, we're gonna be filming stuff, and we'll be making a video about it. So if you want to know what happened, you know, tune in, we'll be there. But if you have any questions that you want asked, or anything in particular, and you just can't make, you know, any sort of meeting during the workday in the work week, or during 9 to 5, which is when the consultation's happening, then we can be your voice if you'd like. But what's better is if you guys come out. But yeah, please feel free to discuss and share and talk about what's going on in your city. You know, it's been a pleasure. I'm almost back at my car. My fingers are about to freeze off, like just about this close, but you know what? I'm an Edmontonian. This is what we do. We get out in the cold and we make videos. We do whatever we do in the winter. I mean, look at that gust of snow. Anyways, it's been a pleasure talking to all of you. I've had a lot of fun, I've done a lot of research, and I hope you guys teach me something today. So we'll see you later, YEG Nation, Edmonton, everyone out there. Peace.